right, now we're going to delve into some of the science behind agreeableness. So agreeableness has a lot to do with the left and right brain split. Now, according to Ian McGilchrist, who's a very famous neuroscientist who's written a huge book on the left and right split, you can't, as a neuroscientist, divide the brain perfectly into two halves and put everything in one bucket and say it's all the right brain does this and all the left brain does this. But if you were to give a dominance to the right brain is going to have a little bit more of a processing of how people feel, a little bit more of the linguistic, emotional side of things, a little bit more of attention to how others are feel, and the holistic picture of things. The left brain is more looking at the pieces, parts of things, and being a little bit more analytical and trying to pull things apart and the reasons why. So the right brain is more people-centric in its engagement. So the reason why I tell you all this is so that you could see that there's real differences in people's brains. We're going to be looking at another book and listening to Chantel Prat, and she's written about this as well. And she says that these people who have a little bit more right brain dominance tend to be the people that are a little bit more socially interactive and correspond to the agreeableness trait. So you get a couple neuroscientists weighing in on this, saying these people tend to have a little bit more of the agreeableness factor because their right brain is a little bit more active. So again, I say all this so that we can understand that these aren't just sociological categories that we've come up with. There's real differences in people, how people are wired and put together. So hopefully this helps you to understand and have compassion on other people, understanding that they do things differently because they're wired differently. And if you go way back, people are wired differently because these different types of people have different tools to solve different problems. And our brain capacity is such that you have to narrow it down in order to be really effective and really fast at solving those problems. So when we have that, we have somebody we come up with a person who's highly agreeable, and they're problem solving in these great ways. So use these people and release their superpowers of their super brains, their super right brains that are supercharged scientifically to solve problems in a great way. So let's move on to the next situation here. The insula. This is another thing that these people have amped up in their brains. It's part of the prefrontal cortex. It's deeper inside the brain. It's a thin little strip of your brain, and it's basically responsible for making a map of how other people feel and how you're feeling and how that corresponds to each other. It's responsible for our social cognition. It's responsible for us understanding what are the rules, what are the social engagement rules in this place. So all of that's a whole part of the brain that they follow. That's like, is this person following the norms? Do they need to be punished? Should they be encouraged? What do I need to do? So you can see how this part of the brain, being very active and strong, is again going to make someone more dominant by using this part of the brain in the agreeableness sector of our 5-factor model. Again, they've got their brains wired to do this really well. So instead of saying, hey, why don't you tone that down? Why don't you say, hey, let's see how we can utilize this for the best of everyone in our team and for themselves and for the people that they're trying to serve. So it's a great thing to have, but like we said, you could have too much of it too. So that's why you have these different people within your organization who all have different amounts of these things working together so that they can make a very well-rounded, fast type of perception and behavior situation to solve the problems in your team. And then we have brainwave synchronization. This sounds a little bit hippie, doesn't it? Where you get into the point where like, yeah, man, we're really vibing. But according to Chantel Prat, another neuroscientist, this is a thing. People actually, they put these EEGs that actually study your brain waves, which is kind of the holistic synchronization of your own brain. And then they put them together and they do different things like learning languages, playing games, reading stories together. And the more relevant the story is to each other, the more they're interacting around, saying, learning a language or an activity, the more their brains come into synchrony. So this is something that, again, that agreeableness people are good at, of achieving good brain synchrony with others, because that's their whole goal is to I want to be in synchronization with you. So you can see how they'd be great people to have on board on a team. They're going to create glue and cohesiveness. They might not question the status quo, but the sense of being on same page with another person is going to be powerful with these people. So release that in your group, encourage that in your group, and then encourage these highly agreeable people to see how somebody who's less agreeable can break free from the group and cause new problems, or new solutions rather, to flourish where they might not see them. So have these people work together in concert with others. So usually agreeable people are really good at working in concert with others.